Okay, I just finished episode 15 of season 2 of Vinland Saga. Spoiler alert. Um, I want to start by talking about a movie. I don't know if you all have ever seen the movie Roadhouse. This movie is famous for a particular scene. There's a character who is fighting someone and he's known for ripping throats out when he fights. If you've seen episode 15, you know where I'm going. And that was the first thing I thought about when I saw that part of the episode. So this episode starts where 14 ends, where Garter is tied up, being guarded by a bunch of men. Snake has, and Arnhide wants to clean his wounds. So she goes up to Snake. He tells her absolutely not. Snake assigns a guy to go and take her back because Snake had something to do. Snake takes the last horse and runs off. There's a madam that wants to see him. He takes the last horse in the stalls and goes off. So this guy has to walk Arnhide back. She talks him into lying to the other guys, and in the most ridiculous way. And she goes over and sees Garter. The guy's literally like, Snake said that she can clean his wounds. I'm not lying. It was hilarious. But anyway, so she and Garter talk for a minute. She starts crying. She doesn't really get to try to clean his wounds because he's tied up. And obviously not going to untie him. The guys are actually trying to get her to perform a sex act on her husband. I guess they wanted to watch this because they're sick perverts. I thought the violence was enough for this show, but that part was kind of creepy. But anyway, it starts raining. The other guards go in. This guy who Arnhide talked into letting her see Garter is the only one left guarding him. So she's crying. They had some kind of a discussion. He asked her forgiveness for what he did. She feels terrible because she knows she's pregnant with another man's baby. I'm assuming she's upset because she and their son's gone and Garter doesn't know. So there's a very emotional scene for the two of them. So she's crying. She's kneeling before Garter, who is tied. His hands are behind his back and his neck's tied. I mean, he's tied up pretty good. Or at least it seems like he is. Anyway, so the guy goes over to Arnhide, tries to get her to come up, to get up, so he can take her back. And he gets close enough that Garter lunges at him. And he's still tied up really good, but somehow he gets his restraints kind of loose, and he lunges at him. And he bites his neck, the front of his neck, enough to where it kills him. He literally bites his throat out. It's terrible. Thus my discussion of the movie Roadhouse. If you haven't seen it, Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott, it's an excellent movie. You should check it out. Anyway, it's an older movie. It's from the late 80s. I believe it's 1989 is when Roadhouse came out, I think. Anyway, so clearly, the guy falls down dead. Guards come out. The guy has a knife, and Garter's like, Arnhide, grab the knife, cut me loose. It's about to get real. We don't have time. Come on, let's do this. So they show the guys come out and run towards them, and they show Arnhide looking at the knife. When Snake comes back, Arnhide and Garter are gone, and all the guys are dead. There's a severed hand. There's blood everywhere. The one thing they do notice is there's a knife where the rain had cleaned the blood off, but they could see flesh on it. So obviously somebody stabbed Garter. So Snake says he has wounds on top of wounds. There's no horses left, so he can't go gone far. So they start going after him. So that's that part. So then after that, they show Einar and Thorfinn having just awakened. They had a sleepless night. Einar still thinking about Arnhide, worried about her. And it turns into an existential conversation, which Vinland Saga has a lot of those, which I love. He says something interesting. They had a lot of cool quotes in this one. But he says something to the effect of, it's wrong that violence takes away people's freedom. Einar, I believe, says it. And Thorfinn is basically like, look, I've killed too many people. I can't, it's not for me to say, but I do agree with you, And it comes, the crux of the conversation, because they talk about a few things, talk about Arnheid and some other things. The crux of the conversation, as I remember it, is Thorfinn is still racked with guilt for all the people he killed, obviously. He said every night they come to him in his dreams, why'd you kill me? And he's like, he needs to carry their souls to a place where they can rest in peace. So I guess to him, that is a place where there's no war and no slavery. And he talks about, I guess he told Einar at one point in a previous episode, I think I remember that, where he basically says, I want to create a world where there's no war and no slavery. And Einar's like, look, how did we do that? Because it sounds fantastic. And Thorfinn's like, I don't know how to do that, but I would love to have one place on Earth where there is no war and no slavery. Einar correctly says, well, how do you defend against that? Because Thorfinn goes on to talk about the Norse people and how they're all about war. They train their sons from an early age, and they believe that the more wealth and the wealth you have, the more people you plunder, the more successful you are. And basically, a person who wouldn't kill somebody would be thought of as a coward. And Thorfinn basically is like, I'd rather be a coward than kill one more person. I can't do it. I can't kill any more people. But they're talking about this fictitious place that Thorfinn would love to create. And he's talking, and they get really deeply into the kind of the logistics of it, because he's talking about how it would be a country to have a lot of people come there. It'd be hard to set it up, as far as but it was an interesting conversation. They were just kind of mulling having a society when there was no war and there was no slavery, and you could put it in a place where it was far away enough from everyone else that no one would be able to come and attack it, even though it was there. And it's basically the stories that he grew up hearing about Vinland, and that's what basically he's talking about. They never mentioned the term Vinland, but that's what he's talking about. He talks about Leif telling him those stories when he was growing up. So it kind of ends with them mulling that. Then they go back and you see, actually during that scene, it kind of abruptly ends because Snake, Badger, and the rest of their men come to the stables, and obviously they're hunting the Gandar. They're trying to find them, so they storm past. They treat Thorfinn and Einar like they're nothing, like they're slaves. And they go into the stables and they start searching around and trying to find them and stuff. And Thorfinn is the one who, they're looking around like, what's going on? And Thorfinn finally says he escaped. It's the only reason they'd be doing this. So Thorfinn figured it out. Obviously they didn't find them. They didn't find Einar. They're still in the wind. In the last scene of the show, you see Snake sitting in the house, brooding. He's very upset, or frustrated, mad. And he's sitting next to the old master, and you see the old master sitting there, and then the old master just closes his eyes. So I don't know if this means the old master is dead. It's kind of what they allude to. But that's how the episode ends. So, excellent episode. Very emotional, seeing Arnheid and Gandar. I actually went back to look at his name in the caption. I don't watch the shows with captions, but I'll turn it on and see certain things for clarity, and it's Gandar. So Arnheid and Gandar crying over their situation. Gandar, I was talking to my son about, the son who has me watching this, about Gandar and how tough he is. Now, Snake whooped him pretty easily, so obviously he's not, on the higher level. And I kind of compare Snake with Thorgil, Kettle's son, Thorgil, and then Thorkel and Thorfinn and Thors. All of them kind of have, they're on a higher level, even though my son said Thorgil's not quite that high. But, we'll see what's going on when everything comes together on the show. But, I don't know, Gandars may not be on their level, but he's not somebody you mess with. And, like I said, there was about 4 men guarding him, and they all got killed. And he and Arnheid escaped. So, Well, it seems they escaped. Arnhide still has Kettle's son. Kettle's still gone, so that's an issue. Gonna see how that plays out. So it's a mess, but there's a lot of episodes left. There's 24 episodes in the season, so we've got 9 episodes left to untangle all of this mess. And I am really, really praying for a Vinland Saga season 3. I have not seen if it's coming out yet, but it's going to be interesting. Good episode. So the next one will be episode 16.